Welcome to Season 4 of Song Revolution, where you're going to find great information, interviews, and inspiration to fulfill your passionate calling to write great songs. Hey everybody, John back with another great episode of Song Revolution. You are the reason that we do this show. It's so fun to bring you great content, to bring you encouragement, and hopefully some information that's helpful in your songwriting journey. Or maybe you feel God's calling you to be a Christian artist or a communicator in some way. And what we want to do is bring excellence in communicating the gospel in whatever way that you feel he is calling you to do that. So thanks for taking a few minutes to be with us this week, but also to check out all that we offer over at NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com. I'm especially excited about our brand new NCS Ultimate Extravagant, Amazing, Off-the-Chain Songwriting Guide. So check that out. It's not really called that, but check it out in the show notes. Download it. I think there's like 60 or 90 pages, I don't know. But it's really going to be a helpful tool for you this year as you continue to grow. One of the things that I do love about doing the show is that I get to make great new friends, and today is no exception. I have to tell you that the algorithm has brought me a new friend and a new guest here on the show today, Shaylee Simeone. If you don't think the algorithm works, well, just turn on a playlist and it figures you out. It's so weird. It's so creepy. So I was listening a couple of weeks ago and I heard this music and I'm like, who is that? And I went over and I looked and it was this stranger named Shaylee Simeone. And then I read her bio and I'm like, I think I'm going to invite her on the show, and I'm so glad I did. So you guys please welcome Shaylee Simeone.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
It's so fun.
It is so fun
to have you. You're already a good sport, we can tell.
I did enter the room when you were playing my music on a boombox on your shoulder. So
and dancing, we were all dancing, like not just me, but the whole staff. We were having fun because you have great music. You're just already a great person. So
thank you. Except now you've ruined my expectations. I want that to be how I enter every room now.
May it be so.
Yeah.
May it be so.
Will you text my husband?
I will do that.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
So I didn't quite get into the intro, a couple of things that I wanted to do. So let me just read just a little bit. I mean, you have a solo career. You've been releasing music for a while. You have 17 million streams on Apple and over 11 million streams on Spotify, which is unbelievably great. Congratulations. You have had some other success besides that because you have your sync music. Your private joke. Your sync project. Is it HRD? Hardly? HRDL?
Yeah,
okay.
Hardly.
So you've amassed over 2 million Spotify streams, and you have found placements on Netflix, MTV, as well as a McDonald's commercial.
Oh, yeah. In
Congratulations.
Italy. Speaking of Italian.
In Italy. Wow.
Hilarious. I know.
I wonder how they say McGriddle.
That's a great question. I actually never got to see the commercial, which also made me really sad. I was like,
what song was it? It was just like a sync. I mean, it was just an instrumental, or were you singing on it?
Yeah, I was singing on it. I think it's called like Better Together, which also tracks with McDonald's. Something probably they were pairing two foods, you know?
So we have this joke in my house because, McDonald's isn't real food, right?
Correct.
And so it's some kind of chemicals or something. And so my wife will only allow me to have one McGriddle a year. And so it's my annual McGriddle. And I like the sausage McGriddle.
I like your wife so much.
I like the sausage McGriddle. Okay, now who was the person that thought of injecting pancakes with syrup?
Ooh.
Come on, I mean the McGriddle, right? It does that.
I don't know, but they don't have children.
It's so good. And it'll cause you to not have children
so
if you
much
eat
sugar.
too much.
I'm just thinking about my children on a syrup-injected pancake and what that would do to them.
So I was just really captured by your music. which is kind of unusual, right? I mean, how often do you have a playlist on and something you don't recognize comes on and you really like it, right?
Honestly.
So, well, take us back to some of the early days of your music. You've been at this a minute. You've got some wonderful success. Just who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Oh, what a great question. I do feel like I have evolved a lot over the last decade. Coming here, when I moved here from Texas, and I was just like, I don't know what I want to do. I just want to do music because I like it. And that was about the game plan that I had.
Were you married then?
No.
Okay.
I met my husband here, which was great. And he was not a musician. He's a dentist, which is hilarious.
Nice.
But
your teeth are beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. Floss every day. Actually, this is proof that he still says I am like his worst patient. And so it's proof, guys. I mean, if you struggle with the dentist and struggle flossing, your dentist might marry you still. So
nitrous oxide.
There's hope for you. Just
one word, nitrous oxide.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Laughing gas, man.
Oh,
that'll get you through.
I saw God.
I saw God.
I did.
And he was funny.
He was beautiful. He was so beautiful.
Hilarious.
Okay, so
anyways,
the story.
Okay, so yeah, we met here. But my music has taken a lot of twists and turns because I think I just was very open-handed with it. I was just like, I just want to write music. I think I fell in love with songwriting pretty quickly. I didn't even know what co-writing was when I moved here. Like, that felt so insane to me that was a thing. When I moved here.
It does to a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, excuse me, this is like my personal diary that I like do alone in my room that I barely show anyone. And you're telling me I have to go sit in a room with strangers and be like this vulnerable and then be like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, what? This is like my heart and soul. It was, my first few co-writes were comical. Like, I wish iPhone technology was better back then and I could have recorded them. It would be the best.
It is a thing, though. There is a vulnerability.
It's so vulnerable.
It really is.
Like, learning to take criticism in co-writes and letting it like wash off of you. It's something you just have to learn. It's like an art. You just because it isn't personal. I mean, sometimes you write with people that are jerks. That happens. But I've rarely encountered those, luckily. It's just kind of like, it's a good thing. It's really like, I learned so much from it, and I ended up falling in love with that process because I was like, I loved having someone else in the room to bounce ideas off of, because especially when you get stuck. And so all that to say, I was very very kind of pop singer-songwriter, kind of quirky, and just did my own thing, but released a few, I think I still have them on Spotify. They're called For the Love of the Sea, because I loved writing about the ocean. That was like my favorite imagery of life and God, and recorded that music, put it out, and just kind of quickly realized, well, okay, I won't say quickly realized. That's not true at all. Very slowly and painfully realized that.
Thank you for that correction.
Literally, I was like, why did I say quickly? Not true. God basically revealed to me that he wanted me to step into worship music. And it's not something that was ever on my radar. I was singing, I did BGVs in church and things like that, just volunteer-wise, and like loved that. But I was always like, I never wrote those type of songs. I was not interested. Just not only did it feel very intimidating to me, because I was like, this is writing songs for like other Christians to sing to the Lord. Like, that's insane. That's so much pressure, And also I was just like, I'm like too weird and quirky, like, to do that. I was just like, no, I'm too special. So basically I was just like,
quirky worship songs.
Which is, again, hilarious full circle, because that's literally what I'm doing now. But it's fine. And I think that's what God was trying to tell me then. Like, I think he was trying to be like, no, I still want you to be who you are and be the like unique songwriter that I made you. I just want you to write about me. And I think instead I deciphered that in the way that we sometimes clunkily decipher what the Holy Spirit's telling us, He was being clear. I was just being, human.
Obtuse, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, what you're telling me is I must go be worship leader at Big Hillsong Church and do this like algorithm that is set in front of me, because that's what every worship leader does.
I love how God talks to you. I mean, in that accent of go be with worship leader.
Oh, no, yeah. That was That's not God's voice to you? You just sound like a
No, not quite.
discombobulated
Not
robot?
quite. It's a little more subtle and nice than that. That scared me.
It's weird. I thought that's how he was to everyone. Just me, I guess. No, it's funny because he made like some pathways pretty clear. Like I was praying about it. He's so kind. He does this to me all the time. Anytime I'm literally like, God, I don't know if this is what you're saying. Like, make this clear. And he's like, I swear I can like feel his eyes rolling at me, but in like a kind, fatherly way.
The first thing he says is, well, stop whining
like,
and we'll talk about this.
He's like, I just said it, but all right, I'll say it through a person or say it clearly to you, my doubting child. I'm like, thank you. And it's literally like the next morning, I had a mentor, well, now mentor, but just then was just someone that I had led worship with one time, was this guy that reached out to me, and he was basically like, I'm starting a worship leader mentorship program at this church, and I don't know why your name came to mind. And do you have any interest in being a worship leader? And I was like, all right. Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
I was like, okay. So that started that whole journey, ended up doing that. And that, his name's Carl Carty. I don't know if you know him.
The name.
Okay.
I don't know Carl, but I know his name.
Still one of my mentors and good friends, and has written countless songs with me, and him and his family are so dear to me. But anyways, that was just the start of this journey for me of writing, worship and doing all of that. But it's so hard to, please direct me, because I tend to tell stories in this very windy.
No, I mean, I think the thing I love it, and because we're new friends,
I go all over the place. It's hard.
I didn't have like a whole lot of background other than what's on your Spotify bio, so I'm just
trying to sum it up. Trying to be quick, but it's like, how do I sum up 10 years in 10 minutes?
But seriously, what I'm hearing is that you were following God to the best of your ability, and He's guided you, and you have had some pretty impressive success, just, I guess, with the people you've met and been able to co-write with, your Sync project. The thing I think I want to go back to, number one, might be some of your influences as an artist and a writer, because you described yourself as kind of quirky and, that kind of thing. And one of your latest singles, Image of Me, you actually use irony and sarcasm, which you don't find in a lot of successful Christian music.
True. Very true.
So, who were some of your influences, and how did you come to kind of identify as a little bit of a quirky person, and then talk about Image of Me?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if any other writers or songwriters resonate with this, or if this is just the Enneagram 4 in me. I don't know if you're an Enneagram person.
Hello. Fours unite.
Fours unite. Fours are the best and the worst.
Yeah.
Because questions like that, they're so hard for me. Because I'm like, what do you mean, who influences me? No one influences me, because I am my own special person.
We will call you Uniqua.
Yeah, call me Uniqua.
Uniqua.
But I mean, I did grow up. My dad force-fed me the Beatles my whole life. My daughter's name is McCartney, like literally.
Oh, cool.
So their songwriting has shaped me in the sense of their creativity. They're not afraid to get weird and think outside the box, and so I feel like that shaped me whether I even knew it or not, because when I was younger, I didn't know. I just was, again, force-fed is the appropriate word. It was being played whether I
constantly
wanted it or not.
Wow.
Which my dad would be like, 1,000%, yes, no regrets. But so I was always drawn to that kind of music, and then the kind of stuff I liked was more in that singer-songwriter realm. So I just was always drawn to voices of artists and songwriters that were either saying something different or that sounded a little different. And I think that's what was hard for me getting into the worship world, because I was like, especially with women, now I do feel like it is changing. I feel like there's a lot more diversity in voices and stuff. But I was like, man, they all sound super similar. Like all these girl voices are all just like these massive voices.
Yeah, it kind of started with Kim Walker-Smith.
Yes.
Kind of that vibe, Jesus culture.
Yeah. And there was, differences and stuff. But I think also it was hard for me because I don't have a big rangy power ballad voice. I have more of that like singer-songwriter-y voice. And so I was kind of like, even when it came to leading, I was like, where do I fit here? And when I have churches being like, hey, will you lead this song? There's an octave jump, and I'm like, no. Like, and also like, if I can't do this, this singer, like, why are you thinking these people can do this?
Average.
And like, why are we
singers.
why are we leading these songs that are like screaming in the rafters all the time? Like, it's fine if you want to throw one in there for an emotional moment, I guess. But I just started getting frustrated with that being the thing, and so my writing started shifting to where I was like, I wanted to write more songs. Like why am I trying to write songs to fit that when that's not even what I do? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so
I love that.
I was just like, I should just write songs catered to my voice and, catered to maybe, I say, regular people's voices.
Yeah, right.
That can't do the impressive thing. And I have respect for people that can hit those notes and do that. But sometimes it felt like, is that what we always need to be doing as worship leaders? Like, do we need to be like showing our stuff?
I think just on that point for a moment, for whoever's watching today and on the show or in even our community is here today via our community app. And, I think a lot of times we've turned church into a wonderful Christian concert.
Yeah.
And we just stand there. And even the church we go to, it's like a lot of times I'm looking around and there are nearly 4,000 people who are not singing. And I'm not saying they don't appreciate it, but it's become, I don't know, kind of unreachable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And sometimes a song's on and I'm wondering, okay, who on the platform wrote that? Because I've never heard it and I'm not really digging it. I mean, I'm trying not to judge, but so be careful, you guys. I mean, write songs that are singable and vertical and meaningful for people.
Exactly. I know. Yeah. I felt frustrated by that when it's like, and again, it's like even as a writer, I'll be like, it's hard because sometimes I'll be like, oh, we're singing the same songs, like sing something new.
Goodness of God, again.
But then also I'm like, quit throwing a new song at these people every Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you can't win. And that's, again, I felt my heart. I don't know if other worship leaders would resonate with this. Like, I felt myself, which is how I knew I needed to take a step back for a season. Like, I was being so critical, like, of anyone leading worship. Not necessarily of them as like a person, you know what I mean? But I was just, again, I was just like, it's that same sort of thing. I was like, oh, that song's so old. Or like, oh, why are you singing it that way? Or like, why
it's
are you
easy
singing your
to
new
do.
song? Like, I just was so critical. And I was like,
what is it, Shaylee, that we think we have the right to go in and just really dissect everything? But, okay, I want to get us back to the quirkiness in a minute, but I agree with you. And I stepped off the church platform 11 years ago. And it took me a while to even be able to go and be okay at church because I was hypercritical.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I don't know, I don't know if I thought I could do it better. Maybe I did, but it was still hard. But all right, so we diverted. I want to come back to image of...
We can go
We
deep
can
down
go
that
deep.
rabbit hole,
We can do lots of
which I
bunny
would
trails.
love to do.
But let's get back to the quirkiness, your Enneagram 4... Beatles infused into your veins, but talk about Image of Me. Can you give us some of the lyrics? Can you? Sometimes I can't think of lyrics unless I'm singing the song, but
oh, I know.
What was the genesis of that song, and what are you trying to say?
Well, so funny enough, I wrote that with Carl, mentor, and my friend April. And then I came in with this idea because I think I was getting frustrated with this idea that we as humans tend to want to fit God into our own image.
Of course, yeah.
You know, like there's so many ways you can look at that, whether it's, the church does it, politics does it, we do it individually, like we just all, whatever our viewpoint is, we want so badly to say that God is on our side, or you know what I mean, or God would agree with us, and
we're right.
Yeah. And so it's like, instead of us being like, okay, well, let's look at scripture and let's try and form our lives into what that looks like. We're taking that and just trying to be like, no,
Yeah.
I think that God should look more like me. And so the song is kind of in the form of a question. Like it's supposed to be, it's in the form of a prayer, like an honest, it's supposed to be like, I just had this really honest prayer conversation with God about, like, in a sarcastic way, basically being like, man, it would be so much easier if you would just act more like me and look like me, and like, because it was like, it starts off being like, God, you're so far, and that's hard to make sense of this space between us. Like, sometimes I'm trying to fill in the gaps and I'm trying to find the answers and I can't. And so instead I'm just trying to make you into my own image, and now I'm trying to like think of the chorus.
I know, right? Yeah.
But it would be like, so am I the one to decide what you should be like, and if it coincides with everything that I think and feel and want and need, catered perfectly to my size and my gauge of wrong and right, because I would much rather lead and see a God that's made in the image of me.
Girl.
So
Mic drop on that. Oh my gosh, that's
the
incredible.
funny thing was when I actually posted just a clip of that chorus, on socials, and I tried to make it clear with any caption that was very much like, sarcasm or like what, like tried to make it very clear, because out of context of the whole song, just posting those lyrics sounds like I'm saying that, I want that to be true. But I'm like, no, the whole thing is supposed to be very self-reflective, and it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to bother you a little bit. The song is supposed to be uncomfortable to listen to. And it was just, what's funny, me and my producer put it in this very like package.
Really pop, yeah.
Like a very pop, happy thing, which is supposed to lean into the sarcasm of being like, you're kind of like, this is enjoyable to listen to, but these lyrics are actually very like, supposed to be kind of like poking you and make you uncomfortable. And a couple people were like, they were like, actually, it's the opposite. We are made in God's image. And like, people started like fighting me, and I was like,
they're correcting you. Yeah.
And I was like, yes. I just responded really like, you're right. That's what the whole song's saying.
That is it.
That's the point. You nailed it.
Some people just have a hard time breaking out of anything that isn't like just the familiar and something that they feel is sacrosanct. So good for you. Good for you. Enneagram 4, Uniqua. I think that's awesome. Now this Uniqua. So that song is part of an upcoming Honest Jesus music project, which I love. And again, I said it a moment ago when I read your Spotify bio, I was like, okay, I like that because we have enough of the fakey Jesus music and the fakey stuff. And I think we're all a bit over it, right? Yeah. And so when we're coaching, when we're working with people, we don't do a rubber stamp thing around here, a cookie cutter thing. We're always just trying to release with excellence the best that a person is, whether they're in our community or our artist development program, whatever, level we're walking with an artist or a writer. We're not trying to force people to be a CCM artist or a folk artist or a rap artist or whatever they are. We want you to be who and what you are. And that's what I love. I love the honesty. I love the transparency there and the fearlessness to use a little bit of sarcasm and irony.
Hey everybody, we'll get right back to the episode in just a second, but if you're a songwriter who wants to grow in their craft, finally finish those songs that have been stuck in your journal for years, and connect and collaborate with Christian songwriters from around the globe, NCS Community is the place to start. We meet every week to offer accountability, training, resources, masterclasses, feedback, and song critiques on things that you're working on. And it's just a great place to connect with other Christian songwriters and encourage each other on the journey of becoming a great songwriter. NCS's mission has always been to empower Christian songwriters worldwide, and we'd love to see you there. So check it out, NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com/community. You can find all the details there right on our website, and we'd love to see you inside NCS Community. Check it out.
So talk to us a little bit about the Honest Jesus music project.
Yeah. Well, it's a doozy. It's like going to be 20 songs.
Wow.
Which is bonkers. But it's been like these songs I've written over these past few years, like, and learning all of this. And after taking kind of a step back from from worship leading and taking a little veer in my songwriting. And it happened, it was actually just I remember my first co-write. It wasn't even on purpose. I didn't walk in being like, well, I'm going to start writing honest Jesus music now. I was just like, I think, I'm trying to remember. One of the first ones was one I have released called Hurricanes and Harbor Lights, which I also wrote with Carl, that talks about, the chorus says like that hope and pain can share a space, two things at the same time, like hurricanes and harbor lights. And it talks about Christians being able to sit in the space of grieving or going through hard things and still having hope, like, because we're Christians. But that doesn't mean we have to be like, and we're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that, like you said, that kind of fake, like, but God is in control, and we're like, we're fine. And we have to worship through this, and it's like, I don't think that's what God is saying we have to do. Like, Jesus wept in the garden and, like, asked God to take the cup from him. And, like, Jesus was real and had emotions and was disappointed in his friends. And, like, there were so many real, like, emotional moments with Jesus that he didn't rush through, And so I'm like, I think God doesn't need us to rush through those. I think he's saying that he will be with us in them, And so that's why I think hope and pain aren't mutually exclusive. Like, hope doesn't mean joyful, happy, it just means, you can hold space for both of those at the same time. So that song felt kind of like the thesis, if you will, of this project.
Wow.
And I just started being like, okay, I just want to write in this vein and see kind of like where God takes it. And, each write was just kind of like inspired by that. And I mean, there's things all over the board. So Image of Me, there's Marriage is Hard was one of the first ones that talks about the reality of.
No, it's not.
No, you're right.
Come on.
You're right. It's
Come on, it's
easy.
not.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. That's the only one that's not true. And then Pieces in Your Piece, literally the first line of the song is, I just want to be sad for a minute. Like, talks about just wanting to, like, sit like Jesus in the garden. Ironically, I have a song called Crying in the Garden that talks about that I think I might release on Good Friday. Because I was like, what better day than the day Jesus was in the garden.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's so good.
So, yeah, I've got a song about having family members that have addiction. Talked about, I have a song called Disappointed. Talking about being disappointed in God's plan. But still, like,
you're going too far with this, Shaylee. I mean, come on. I mean, you're ripping off some Band-Aids here, and some maybe you're ripping off some scabs. I don't know.
It's a lot. It's going to be a lot. People are either gonna not care because of the vastness of the internet and amount of songs.
Yeah, right.
Just not listen to it. B, maybe be offended on some level, or C, maybe it will help them realize that they're not alone. That's kind of the goal, Write a song called Scabs while you're at it. I mean, it's like, come on. That's a lovely song title. Taking out your scabs.
Okay, all right. So, full disclosure, I unfriend people on socials if they post gross stuff. Like if they post a picture of them in the hospital, or they have a femur sticking out, and it's like, you're gone. I don't even care if you're a family member. I mean, it's gross. And I tell you why. It's because when you're scrolling, you have no control over what's coming up next. And it's violence. It's horrible. And I don't ever do that to me. I have unfriended people that are lifelong friends. So I retract what I said about scabs. But still, it's
the cover of the album. Can you imagine? Or the single?
Okay. Oh, that's so gross. All right.
You brought that upon yourself.
I did. Okay. But hurricanes and harbors. Okay. We talk a lot in our training around here, in our community, and also in everything that we do. Everything you can't get away from this is the power of alliterative hooks. And to put those H's in there and the R's and the S's in hurricanes and harbors. That is so brilliant. And not only that, but that metaphor for hope and pain. Yeah, I remember years ago, I won't quote it exactly right, but one of the first times that I felt judgmentalism for people who were struggling with any kind of sin in their lives was when I read Brennan Manning's, is it Brennan Manning? Abba's Child? No. Nope. Kyle, will you look up Abba's Child? Who wrote that? I loved it, but it said it is possible for the same person, Brendan Manning, I was right, okay. All right, to have the presence of sin and grace in their lives, because I was always taught that God would have nothing to do with you if you screwed up. And it's like, that is so wrong. It's like where sin abounds, grace does much more abound.
Absolutely.
And so when you talk about hope and pain, it reminds me of that. But I love the metaphor of that. I mean, kudos. That's so incredible.
Thanks.
Will you come write songs with me? I think, guys, don't you think
you
this
also
is
need
great?
Carl Carty is the king of metaphors. He's incredible.
Love to meet him. Put in a good word. But
that makes me think too of, which also feels kind of like a thesis of this time period, is a song on there that's called "Better Than I Imagined," because it talks about, like, I've had a lot of friends that are going through a lot of like deconstruction, and I would say that I went like, I don't like calling it that word because I feel like that has such a specific meaning right now in our like culture, but I feel like for me just to be able to like meet with God and ask him some stuff and like poke through some things.
Yeah.
I feel like so many times people think that means like the sin and the grace, the hurricanes and heartbreaks, the hope and pain, like the asking questions, like the doubt means an absence of God, or that means no more church for you, or that means you have to walk away, or like you have, like the end of that journey of questioning or anything or doubt always ends in people turning away from God. And I think it's because so many times in that season of questioning or doubt, we turn a lot of times to people or to things to answer those questions. But what God showed me was that if you turn to him in that season, like he's not even remotely afraid of our questions, and that he will meet us there, and he will show us that he's even better than we thought he was. And that was such a like beautiful revelation to me, that he was like, instead of the shame I feel like sometimes churches can have around being like, hey, I just got a question about that, or like, why is stuff this way, or why is a church run this way, or why is this going on? I've just got some questions, and everyone's like, don't you question God's house,
right?
And you're like, what? And God's like, no, bring me your questions, bring me your hardest questions. Like, let's go. I'm not afraid. Like, child, I have all the answers for you, and I'm gonna meet you there. And this, like, my Holy Spirit will meet you in the most powerful way, and I will show you that I'm so much better than you thought I was.
So awesome.
So much better. And so I'm like, that can also be the end of that journey. People just think it has to end in this negative way. And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
No. A good ending of deconstruction is reconstruction in a healthier way, And we could spend more time on that, but I'm going to divert us a little bit because we have a few questions coming in from our community, which is watching us do this podcast today. Which
I forgot about the liveness.
I know. They're watching over here on the computer, but a couple of things will kind of take us back just a little bit to some of the beginnings. Mike in our community is asking, how did you release your initial music? How was it produced?
Initial. I'm meaning like first record, like
it's kind of the beginnings.
Beginnings. Worked with a producer that I met, who actually had come to one of my like songwriter rounds that we just connected with. I will say every producer that I've ever worked with has always been a friend that I've like co-wrote with or like collaborated with on some level, to where I knew that we vibed as like humans. Yeah, which I feel like is really important, because producers you work with. Like, you work really closely with a producer, and it's like an artistic.
It's pretty intimate, really, intimate. Artistically, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like you need to really like them and trust them as like a person. And so, like,
very true.
Vetting that person just as a friend, I feel like has always worked out really well for me and been like this really natural process. And then I have, at the beginning, I think I used TuneCore, but now I would highly recommend DistroKid.
I know. I like DistroKid too, yeah. Their tools are just really good.
They are, and it's so much simpler And yeah, and I feel like, I mean, yeah, that's what I would recommend in the independent route.
Nice.
So.
All right. Well, here's another one from Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Who is your favorite Christian songwriter and why? And besides me, I mean, besides
obviously,
mine,
well, obviously, I can't say
besides
that
me,
because
so.
that's the obvious answer. But I would say, I mean, Brooke Fraser has always been my fave because I've always just loved her.
Those early Hillsong days.
Voice. I just feel like I love her songwriting because she is so like deeply in scripture, but also is creative. You know what I mean? Like she's like, she finds a unique way to say things, but she stays very like grounded in scripture, which I've really appreciated. And her tone is just like, it's insane. I love her.
And a couple more from Andrew. Hey, Andrew, over in the Little Rock area. What was the best advice you received for your songwriting, and what was the worst advice? Ooh, good question, Andrew. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Good question.
Oh, man.
What was the best and what was the worst?
Oh, that's a hard question. Best advice? I feel like maybe the collaboration aspect that we talked about at the beginning, like letting trusted voices in and like learning to like, I'm not very good at receiving, or I used to not be very good at receiving criticism. And I will say, I just took everything as criticism.
Instead of critique.
And like being so precious with everything about my song, and just being like, no, I won't change anything about
That's
this.
huge, Shaylee.
Like,
you go, girl.
It's hard. Well, it's really hard. And like to give yourself some grace when you're first doing stuff, it's hard to let go of pieces of something that you've created that you feel really attached to, And I think, which that ties into the producer thing too, because when you're working with somebody, because sometimes a producer will have opinions and be like, ooh, let's change this, or like, let's add this in there, And if you're in there and you're just like being so cagey about it, you know what I mean? Like that could make it hard. So I feel like being able to be open-handed with someone else looking at your thing, your baby that you created, and just being able to be like, someone else might have some insight that it does not mean that what you made is not great and that you're not a good creative person, and that what you made wasn't amazing. It's just...
I think that's huge. Just jumping in for just a second. I mean, you said the word precious, and when you're a young songwriter, young aspiring songwriter, sometimes you can look at a lyric or something and you go, the feeling is, I'm never going to come up with anything else, or that is so inspired from God, and you hold it so close to the vest or to your chest, just to your heart. But it's in letting someone else who knows better, who has more experience, speak into that will help you grow. And really, I think that holding things so precious keeps you from becoming prolific. Yeah. Because you're just stuck on that one thing, and you've got to let it go, right? All right. So that was the best advice. What was the worst?
Gosh, I'm trying to think. I will say, I can't think of like the worst advice, but I will say just be careful maybe of people that just are trying to take advantage of you. Like I've had just some funny, weird like industry things or people. Like I remember having a manager when I was younger literally come try and be my manager, but he was like, but you'll need to pay me thousands of dollars a month, or something. And I didn't know. And I was like, really? And he's like, I helped Katy Perry, which, or something. I was like, what? Even though stuff like that where someone could easily, I think I at least resonate with this. I like really value team, being in a band, or like having a team, having someone like believe in you. Like I think a lot of people value that, but like sometimes you want so desperately to not feel alone in your ministry or in your artistry. You know what I mean? That you just want someone to like validate you. Yeah. That you can very easily.
Well, that is tremendous advice, and really one of the most gigantic reasons we have NCS community, because we call it Lonely Songwriter Syndrome, LSS. and you might be suffering from LSS if you spend thousands of dollars on a manager you don't need, right?
Right.
And so we created NCS Community just for that. So if you're watching and you're not in community, go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real.
That's so awesome. A couple more questions and we'll land the plane here. Our friend Tamayo, who is right here in Nashville, he's asking, what is the best platform for sync?
Oh my gosh. Man, it's crazy because at this point, I feel like there are a lot of websites that are doing like subscription services now that you can just upload your music on that I am not privy to. The ones that I use that I love are MusicBed and Lyric House.
And you can upload what you're creating.
Those are,
there.
you have to like submit.
Right.
So I know it's, I don't know.
And then they choose what they want.
Yeah. So basically But look into those. And then I'm sure like once you look into those, the algorithm, if you will, or like search engines will lead you. Because I think you can also start smaller on some like some sites that will just allow you to like to upload.
And then users, producers, or whoever will just scroll through and find things they like for whatever project.
Those are ones that are more
working.
like hands off. Like my music's just on there, so producers and people can just go on there and like look at it. And then other than that, a lot of it is through relationships of like working with producers or different people that have relationships with executives.
Right.
You know, at companies and stuff that will then be pitching your music and stuff like that,
awesome.
which is just networking and stuff like that.
Cool. All right. One more question. This is from T-Woo. Hey, T-Woo. One of our new community members. She is asking, it's Tawanda, but she calls herself T-Woo.
Okay, that's
I love
so cute.
that. Isn't that great? How do you balance? This is a great question for you, and we'll kind of make this our last question for today, if that's all right.
Yeah.
How do you balance being a wife, mother, artist, Christian, business person, etc., and maintaining your creativity?
Oh, man. That is such a
good question. Good question.
Man, I'm not going to lie. It's a hard balance. And I feel like I have always chosen I always knew, especially when I had kids, that was going to be my priority. So I feel like I've just like made it clear in my mind that there was not going to be like a battle. You know what I mean? That I wasn't going to try and be like, I don't know. I just didn't want that like struggle. And I never wanted my kids to feel like they were battling for my attention, you know? So I was just like, okay, I made this decision. Like my kids are my priority. My family is my priority. And then I will give the rest of my energy to music and the best of my ability and like trust the Lord with that. Because I do feel like he also like, I think he knows my first ministry is my family. You know what I mean? And so I feel like it's kind of this balance of me being like, okay, for me to give all of my extra energy, allotting time, being intentional with like the downtime that I have, the energy that I have towards music, and asking God to like bless and expand that, basically, you know?
So day-to-day trusting
it is
and just
day-to-day
trying to
trusting.
keep it in perspective.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been, granted, I think having a spouse that supports you, you know, that like cares about what you're doing, that is your teammate, you know what I mean? Like that's super important. I think, yeah, man, it's hard. I'm just going to be honest.
There you go.
Like it's really hard, but it's worth
Don't be
it.
honest.
Don't be honest.
More honesty.
No.
Oh, can we handle it?
Man, but honestly, it's also great that like, I feel like I have a creative outlet. You know what I mean? Like for me to still get to like, I hope that I'm creating on some level my whole life, like for whatever percentage of my life it is, you know, like I hope I get to do it forever because, you know, it's just, it gives me, for as long as I feel like the Lord is still telling me to, or as long as it gives me joy and is not taking away from my number one ministry, which is my family. And right now,
beautiful.
I think I'm able to balance it. And I just think God like makes things clear like that. Like if the balance is off, you have different seasons. Like when I was having a newborn, I was like, I'm not doing music a lot right now. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of, it ebbs and flows. And I do feel like God blesses things.
So good.
He gives and takes away.
So when can we expect to hear Honest Jesus music?
Well, which I was going to say too, can I touch on the round? The
Yeah,
writers round
absolutely.
really fast? Because I do have a song coming out February, oh no, what's that Friday? The 20th? The Friday after Valentine's Day. What is that Friday? I should know this.
20th.
Okay, I was right. Yep. Look at me knowing
Kyle
stuff.
is the answer man.
Yes.
Looking up book titles and authors and dates on the calendar.
Oh my gosh.
Kyle is my future
Lifesaver
bride.
over there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But my song Disappointed is coming out that day. So
Awesome.
my plan has kind of been to release a few more like singles. There's part of me that has just been so like, oh, I'm just going to just put them all out.
Yeah,
like I'm tired of promoting and I'm tired of like
Of course you are.
all this. But I also am like, oh, I've put so much into this record. I need to do right by it and like, do it. Social media is my downfall. Like it exhausts
Don't
me.
go there. We don't have enough
No,
time.
I love it. It's great.
No, I mean, you can feel that way, but oh my gosh.
No, we
talk
won't. We
about
won't go down that rabbit
body,
trail. All that to say,
oh.
I will hopefully be releasing a song probably every 5 weeks for the next couple months. The plan is maybe late summer, early fall to just have them all out there.
Nice.
But really quickly, connected to the album, I've started a writer's round called Honest Jesus Music, which was birthed out of, long story short, basically I did a round. It was through the industry, like a label, and they asked me to put it together, and I was like able to get all the writers and all that stuff, and I was excited, and I was like, hey, so this is kind of my vibe. This is what I write about, and can I like ask the other writers to also play some really honest songs, maybe about, this type of thing? And I was like, can I call it? I think I wanted to call it maybe Sad Jesus Music or Honest Jesus Music or something like that. And literally they were like, I don't know. Maybe let's call something more like Songs of Hope or like a Night of Hope. And I was like, that's not quite what I was saying. So anyways, the whole night was just funny because I was just kind of like, and I was like, okay, well, let's just not brand it that way. But I still just told all the writers, like, this is the vibe. Play your most don't play your number one CCM radio hits. Like, I want you to play your songs that are your most vulnerable, your most real, your most honest. Like, let's have basically group therapy via music.
Love it.
For everybody, and they were like, okay, because everyone's like never gets to do that as writers too. So everyone's like, you mean I don't have to play my like radio single? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. And that night was so beautiful. Like, so therapeutic. Like everyone that was there came and talked to us and they were just like, that was incredible. Like half of us cried. Like it was just so amazing. And so I was like, I want to do that. Like I want to facilitate this again, like not just for the people, but for us as writers. Like this is so like needed. This like pressure that we feel to play our number one bangers,
like looking pretty on Instagram.
Yeah, I was just like, no, let's play the songs that you wrote about like your saddest thing that like your label was like, you're not putting that on the record, or like, that we're not pitching that at the radio or whatever it is, and I was like, and then again, let's just like have these like group therapy sessions basically with strangers and just like invite people in and like, and maybe even be able to invite people that aren't believers in because they're ready to hear Christians be like honest and vulnerable and real and not
love that.
Just be like, they're tired of the fakeness and that we've got it all together, and so we started it we did it at Humphrey Street Coffee in August and it went really well and it was awesome. And so, yeah, I'm planning on trying to do it. Like, I would love for it to be consistent in Nashville. I'm trying to figure out how to do that makes sense. And then also what my big dream is to like take it to other cities and then have like other like songwriters that are in other cities, because I'm like, there's so many writers in other cities and they don't do writers rounds. Like in Nashville, it's such a thing. Sometimes it's even kind of tired. Like everyone's like, oh, another writers round. Like we get it, And I'm like, well, yeah. But I love it so much.
I love that, Shaylee.
So yeah, like
that's so awesome.
That's the dream. I don't know if it's something that I would like just facilitate, that I would just help set up in different cities, that I would just kind of like empower other artists to do. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful. Well, you need to come over to our new performance pavilion behind our studios here and do one here with us.
That would be so
Would
fun.
love that. So
okay, that would be awesome.
Wow. Well,
we just got to warm up the weather.
We will warm it up a little bit. Hopefully the ice and snow will be gone by then. But it's been beautiful to have you here today. Yeah. Where can people learn more about you and your music? Spotify, obviously.
Yes, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all those things. The best place to keep up is probably Instagram. That's my most active.
Okay.
Social media at Shaylee Simeone. I repost everything on Facebook and even TikTok, which is I know
getting a little racy there on TikTok.
I'm basically 21, but then that's basically the best way to keep up. But
thank you for being your honest Jesus self here with us today. Really appreciate it.
Me.
What a beautiful find for me and for us. Now, you guys listening, our community, to be able to tap into the authenticity and the fun and the slightly sarcastic side of Shaylee Simeone. And so thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Lovely. You got to come back.
Yeah. We'll teach you how to pronounce words right.
Like thank you. Thank music.
We're learning.
All right, you guys. Well, on that note, we're going to close it out. A big thanks to Shaylee Simeone today and to God and the algorithm for sending her our way. I just appreciate that. And one thing that writers struggle with so much is isolation. So I hope that you'll consider joining NCS community. We have a lovely bunch of folks here, and I think you're going to feel loved and welcomed and nurtured no matter what kind of music that you're making for God. And just hope that you'll check that out over at NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com and lose the lonely songwriter syndrome. Be sure to check out everything in the archives for Song Revolution. Like, love, share, and send us gifts. I don't know, something in the mail. I would love to. I don't know, just something. All right. Love you guys. See you next time on Song Revolution. Bye.
I've got to say I'm disappointed. That's not the way that my heart wanted this to go. And I think I've heard it said that you are sovereign, and I want to trust that, but all too often you say no. And I've got nothing to show for all that planning. It looked like the stars were aligning, and it felt like perfect timing. But the skies opened up and the doors all closed. Here I'm standing in the rain again, and my nice is closed. So what's the point of even trying? And I know that sounds bad, but I'd be lying if I said that I didn't want my way instead of yours. But hear me out. It looked like the stars were aligning, and it felt like perfect timing. But the skies opened up and the doors all closed. Here I'm standing in the rain again, and my nice is closed. I know you're right, but do I have to like it? Is it okay to say that I'm disappointed? I know you know better, but I'm feeling worse. These unmet expectations make me wanna curse. It looked like the stars were aligning, and it felt like perfect timing. But the skies opened up and the doors all closed. And are you sure that this is how it goes? I know you've got a plan, but next time let me know. 'Cause here I'm standing in the rain again, and my night's this close.
Hey, thanks for joining us on today's episode. Be sure to check out all the information below in the show notes, and be sure to like and share. We'll see you next time.